So I've gone from clinically working, say like 35 to 40 plus hours a week, and then doing all the management stuff on top of that, to now working sort of 12 to 14 hours a week clinically. So it's freed me up. I now have my weekends back. I have my afternoons back, which is amazing. And we went from having up to $180,000 a year worth of cancellations to down to about $80,000 a year now instead. So in that one thing that I've implemented, PA is more than paid for itself.
Hey everyone, Sarah Hodge here, hanging out with the amazing Belinda Parsons, one of our amazing members. Belinda runs an awesome vet practice over in Rouse Hill. Belinda, we're going to have so much fun today. Just give everyone a wave and say hi. And guys, stay tuned. I'm going to walk you through Belinda's story. We're going to have a whole heap of fun. How does that sound to you, Belinda? Shall we jump in?
Absolutely. I'm super excited.
Amazing. And you might even see some of Belinda's pets roaming around in the background when she was trying to keep her cat out before, which I love. Super cute. So, Belinda, I'm not going to steal your thunder. Do you mind introducing yourself to everyone? Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah. So my name's Belinda. I'm a vet. I'll have been a vet 20 years this year. And I own a vet hospital in Rouse Hill in Sydney. And we are a startup business that opened as the city was going into lockdown in 2020. So as my clinic was getting fit out, all the lockdown was happening, and we were starting from scratch. So that was not on my business plan originally. But we're still here 5 years later, and we're much bigger than we were when we first opened. So yeah.
That's crazy. To start up a practice during COVID must have been so stressful for you as well. But we'll dive into that shortly as well. But what have I taken you away from this morning, Belinda?
Just doing some of the, CEO business stuff that I need to be doing, staying on target, but it's important for me to have a break. And so I'm really excited to chat with you today, Sarah.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. My morning was a little bit different, getting like the 1-year-old and the 3-year-old out of the house so we could have quiet space and hang out and have this conversation. But it's been lots of fun. So what do you like to do outside of work? I know you've probably got like a million pets at home as well, and you've got your family as well. But what do you like to do outside of work?
Yeah, so I've got 2 daughters, so I love watching my youngest play soccer on the weekends. She's in the NPL team, so that's really exciting for her. And my eldest daughter, she's currently looking at getting a job, so we do hang out and have our little mummy-daughter dates every week, which is really special. And then I just love going on family holidays with them as well. So yeah, that's sort of what we do. And I go to the gym a bit with my husband and try to connect with him too, because he's also very busy. So don't get to see him terribly much. So.
Oh, well, I feel like that I'm going to be living you in the future, like 2 daughters. So I'm going to have to learn all the hacks from you as well when they become teenagers, because that's like a whole different space out there these days, I could imagine. But you've got amazing veterinary business and practice, and I would love to kind of take it back to the beginning. Like, why did you become a vet? Like, what got you into the animal space as well? Or was it something else you were going to do before you became a vet?
I'm a cliche. So ever since I was like a little girl, since I was 5, I wanted to be a vet. So that's just something I kind of worked towards right from when I was really little. I've always had like a real affinity for animals as well. And then very quickly learnt as a vet that you also need an affinity for people too. So, if you can't talk to the people and build relationships with the people, it's going to be really hard to get the pets to have the care they need. So yeah, that's sort of how it progressed. And over time, I just saw that, I really want to own my own practice so that I can make my own rules and do it my own way. So
Amazing. And yeah, what kind of made you take that leap into starting your own business? Because like, I know when you're at university and you're learning, like you don't really learn the business side of things. And that's kind of why we exist as well. But it is a big, scary leap to go, okay, I'm working for someone else, and now I want to jump out and start my own business, let alone starting it in the middle of COVID as well. So what kind of made you take that leap?
Yeah, so I had managed other people's practices for quite a few years before I opened my own practice. So I was my theory was, let's practice with someone else's money before I use my own money and see how it goes. So I worked for some corporate practices as the like superintendent or hospital director. Worked for another company, and I was their general manager of their vet hospital there. And yeah, still having all of that experience, it still was a massive learning curve as soon as I did my own thing. But I just got to that point where I could see that I could make a difference in a different way. And I just kept getting constrained by the rules of other people's businesses. And that's where I was like, I really need to have my own thing so I can do it my way.
Yeah, and that's amazing to kind of, obviously you learn the skill sets that you had there, but then apply it to the way you want to run your business and the way you want to structure your life as well, and to be able to run your own business and have choose your own hours to help more people as well and more animals as well. It's like a really big ripple effect. So it's pretty amazing that you're able to do that as well. So I was actually chatting with Tristan yesterday, and we were talking about your journey, because he was actually the one who spoke to you when you first joined and on the strategy call as well. And he's saying, but Belinda's already running a really amazing and successful business as well. But as we grow through different phases of business as well, like you already had $1 million practice, but what were kind of some of the things you were struggling with when you spoke with Tristan in your business?
So I was really struggling with a lot of overwhelm. I knew something had to change, and I knew I had to do something different because the economic climate had changed. Things were slowing down. My patients were getting older, and younger patients between the age of 8 weeks and 2 years, they're into all sorts of mischief. So they're coming to the vet a lot more frequently. And my patients were getting older, and so they're more sensible. So they're not doing the silly things. So they're not coming in as often. And so my clinic was getting a bit quieter, and I felt like I had to wear too many hats, and I just didn't know what to do. And so I really sort of initially came to have help with marketing, but actually found that there's so much more that I actually got, and that probably the marketing's the tiniest bit that I got out of it in comparison to everything else I've got since joining PA.
And that's like probably one of the most common things. Everyone's like, I need more new patients. The first time they come on a call, I need this, because that's probably the thing. When you look at it, it's like the most painful thing in your business. I'm like, if my books are empty, then my team are like, where are my patients, and all of these things. So it's obviously the first thing that comes in. But then as you scale up and we dive deeper into your business, we realize, oh, yeah, there's just so many other aspects to growing a business, like retaining the clients, making sure they're accepting their treatment plans, patients are coming back as well. Because there's no point marketing if we don't really fill that retention gap as well. Otherwise, you're just going to spend all this money on ads, and then they're just going to disappear out the back. Like, we want to have a really tight retention system and make sure clients do come back and you wow them, and then they refer other people as well. So it's funny that you say that. And then as you scale up like the levels of business to that $1 million plus, Belinda, then it does feel like you're wearing all the hats, because when you start out, you're like, I can do the marketing and I can see all the patients, but now I need to hire a team and do this. And it's just so stressful, like you said, in your head, overwhelm. And like, how was that impacting you kind of like mentally, and you and your business and your family as well?
Well, I guess the biggest thing, I just wasn't as effective as I could have been, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start. And I was very much like, I was that typical busy person that was running around like a headless chalk. And, my poor kids weren't getting the best of me. They were tweens then. They're both teenagers now. Help me, please. But they really need their mum. And, I just didn't have the time. I was working clinically, I was working at 1 million hours, and I felt like I had to keep going, working so many clinical hours to keep all my other team members on board, and to keep the business afloat. And my whole life was just consumed with the clinic, and that's not a healthy way to live. So, and a not effective way either.
Yeah, it sounds stressful for sure. And like, as a mom and a business owner, like for me, like my number one thing is like, when I'm with my kids, I want to be completely present. And if you're thinking off and being overwhelmed about, oh, I need to do this at work or that, like I want to be able to switch off and give them my all as well when I'm doing that. I'm sure you felt the same way as well. And it doesn't have to be like that at all. Like, once you have a strategy and a plan in place as well to do that. So like as a female in business, we have so many things on our plate. Like we have to obviously be at home. We want to be present for our kids and make sure they get the best. Then also probably our third child, our husband, we need to look after him as well, make sure he's good. But then we also have the added pressure of like the business, and then not just the business, but then the team and the patients and the staff that go along with it as well. Like we know, like as a leaders filter down, like our energy filters down. So how do you like juggle all those things as a woman in business?
Yeah, look, it can be really tricky, but I think the biggest thing I've found is having like a really good support network around me. So whether that is the support of the like fellow tribe members at PA, or if it's the support of like I have an incredibly supportive husband, and he works his own really high pressure job as well, but he turns up and he helps with the kids. He's a better wife than I am generally. So there's definitely that, and then yeah, just having the right people in the clinic as well, having the right team around me, and a lot of my team members are mums. All of my vets, we all work part time, and that's by choice. And I want to have a business that makes it possible for mums to come back to work, and be a part of the workforce, because if we're ignoring that part of the workforce, we're losing some really valuable people that do want to do really good work, and that want to be there, and need some time away as well from where they're doing the thing that they've learned to do. So yeah, so it's a definite juggle, and it's not something you can do on your own.
That's amazing. Yeah, you need to have like a supportive tribe around you at home, and also have the team. And that's pretty incredible that you're able to create a business where you can have mums that come in and work part time and give their all, then they can do that at home as well. So that's pretty incredible you're doing that. So let's shift gears now. Let's kind of fast forwards. You've been with us for just over 12 months. Can you believe it? 12 months has gone by. It was end of January last year, which time flies when you're having fun. So we talk about three freedoms in our program, Belinda. We talk about like the freedom of time, and then the freedom of money, and then freedom of headspace as well. So when we think about those kind of three areas, what's different for you right now in terms of like your freedom of time? Like what were you doing before, and what are you kind of doing now with your hours and your business?
Yeah, like I've got so much more time now since I started PA, since I've like really embraced the changes that I've needed to make. So I've gone from clinically working, say like 35 to 40 plus hours a week, and then doing all the management stuff on top of that, to now working sort of 12 to 14 hours a week clinically, and then having really set times. Pretty much just school hours is what I'm doing on the other days, where I get my team meetings and my business sprints and everything done. So it's freed me up. I now have my weekends back. I have my afternoons back, which is amazing. And yeah, it's completely transformed that side of thing. Freedom of money, I'm less concerned about like what I'm going to do if it gets quiet. I've got a plan now. I'm like, you teach us all these different things to not rely on just one marketing funnel or one way of retaining clients. It's like an overall thing. So I'm like, okay, great. I know that I've got all these things I can do, which then links into freedom of headspace, right? I know what I'm doing now. I've got a really great plan. I'm planning in advance. And so I'm no longer feeling like, totally overwhelmed. And when I go to sit down in front of the computer, I'm like, sweet, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I'm getting done. And I'm not like, oh my gosh, I've got so many things to do. I know
Never
I'll just
ending
go
to
watch
do list.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That never ending to do list of like, I don't know what I need to be focused on. So, like I can focus on these needle movers. They're going to shift like my energy, my time, and my money, and I'm going to grow in those areas of my business. And yeah, you just feel more confident. Even like talking to you now, like I know you're an action taker. We give you a plan. You're like, bang, 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 bang. I'm going to do it. So once you have the plan, that's really cool. And in terms, so like hours, you were talking 30, 40, and then admin outside of it, which is probably like more like 50 hours, 60 hours a week. And then you've cut down to like half them pretty much, which is incredible. And then in terms of like revenue growth, how much have you grown in terms of revenue?
Yeah, so revenue we've grown. It's hard to know exactly how much we've grown, but it is, I would say it's about probably $150 to $200,000 in the last 12 months on top of what we were doing. Yeah, so that would be revenue. I can work out revenue easier than I can work out the profit at the moment. So.
Well, don't let Tristan hear this podcast. He'll be like, Belinda.
I know. He'll be like, know your numbers. I'm like, I'm trying. I'm getting better. I'm a work in progress there.
Like, yeah, how do we keep like improving and keep getting better and keep growing and learning? And that's what you're doing. And like, you're only 12 months into this. Like, if we think about a university degree, I don't know, how long does it take to become a vet, Belinda?
Look, it took me 5 years, but now it's 6 years to be a vet.
Yeah, so 5 or 6 years to become a vet or a dentist or a psychologist. If we think about business, you're only like really like a degree, like 1 year into it. If we said it's like a 3 or 4 year degree, so you're doing pretty well. You've grown by like 150, 200K. You've cut your clinical hours. You're only in first year, really. You're just warming up. So I can't wait to talk to you in another 12 months time and see where you go as well. So that's really cool. And one of the things you mentioned, you came to us for marketing. You're like, I need more marketing. So let's kind of dive in and talk about the marketing. We know marketing is the lifeblood of your business. Like, if you don't have patients or animals to see in your case, then we can't treat people. So what kind of marketing campaigns, or what have you done? What were you doing before PA, Practice Acceleration? I'd love to know that first. What were you doing with your marketing?
So I had a really basic Facebook ad out that's just like, hey, we do puppy preschool. And I had Google ads going. And that was it. That was all the marketing that I was doing. We would maybe send out a quarterly newsletter to our clients, but that was it.
And then what did you change since you've joined? Like, what kind of marketing campaigns have you run, and what are some of the results that you've had in the program?
Yeah, so now I've done quite a few different types of campaigns on Facebook. So I've done, the vouchers to get people in, like we do like a $79 puppy and kitten check. So people come in for that. I've done top of funnel ones where it's like a lead magnet, which does quite well for us. So we send out a new puppy survival guide to clients for free, and then they end up on our mailing list, and they end up coming in, and we start sending them the offers as well. The SMS campaigns have been amazing. The latest one that I've been doing is the gratitude campaign, and I really like connecting with my clients that way over SMS, and they're texting me back. It's like a little love fest in there because I'm saying, thanks so much for being a client. Is there anything I can help you with? And they're like, actually, could you just answer this question? And I'm like, yeah, no worries. And like, we love you too. And then we're sending, little emojis backwards and forwards. It's really cool. But then it's also, it's giving them an easy way to book in with me or book in with one of the other vets. So then I'm able to, convert them that way. We've done dental check SMS campaigns, and I've just updated my Google Ads campaign again with the new Google training that you guys have put out, which has also been really great, and converting my Google Ads into clients much better as well than it did in the past.
That's amazing. Yeah. I love the SMS campaigns, like what you were talking about, because they're very conversational. It's like you're reaching out to your friend, and that's why you're like, even if they're not ready to buy right now, you've built that trust. Like, you're reaching out, hey, just checking in, how you doing? And then they get back to you. Maybe then you're front of mind for when they do want to come in again. And then you do pick up that segment of people who are hot and ready to come now. We're busy. Like, God, imagine, like, everyone's life is so busy. So we want to make sure you're front of mind when it's the right time. And I know you said you're such a marketing guru now. You're like, top of funnel. I'm like, yay, go Belinda. She knows all the lingo now, which is cool. But talking about like your top of funnel, which is like your video content, your educational stuff you're putting out there. So I think I saw you post say, one of my videos have gone viral as well. So tell us a little bit about that. And I think that was really, really cool for that to happen as well.
Yeah, so I did the local council's releasing calicivirus in the Greater Sydney area. So bunnies need to be vaccinated. So I had one of the staff's bunnies there with me, and I just did this little video about like, hey, letting you know this is happening. Really important that you get your bunnies vaccinated. The release date is this. We need to get the vaccine done 7 days beforehand. These are the consequences. This is how to protect your bunny. And it's gone viral. It's got over 60,000 views. And I've had directly from that Instagram post, or Instagram reel, I've had, I think, 4 or 5 bunny vaccines booked in just direct from seeing me on Instagram. I did have to turn off comments because they were going to be
Very
like a
controversial topic.
bit controversial.
But that's
Exactly. I was like,
what kind of works in the space as well. You want
yeah,
people to
yeah.
be attracted to you or pulled away from you as well. But that's pretty cool just to like put educational content out there and then for people to come in and book on the back end as well. So I really love that as well. So I know that you can't really run a successful practice, and you said this before, like without having an amazing support team around you. So let's talk about kind of your team. And you mentioned a lot of them are female and they're part-time, which is really incredible. Like, how do you ensure your team stay on top of their performance and they're performing as well?
So I've recently started doing monthly KPI check-ins with them all. So I don't do it with every single team member, but I do it with my direct reports, and we've got really clear on what the process involves. We've got really clear on what my role is, what my leadership team's roles are as well. And so that it was uncomfortable for me to do that at the start because I don't naturally like talking, numbers and stuff necessarily with, particularly with the vets. I don't know why. I had a bit of a mental block with it. But once I started doing it, they were like, "No, this is great. We really want the feedback. They want to do well. They want to be coached. They want to know what they can do to help make sure that they're looking after the pets as well as possible." So that has been a massive game changer for me because it was a bit of like, I'll train a process and then surely that means it's done and I don't have to do anything further.
You probably the fear was like, I don't want to come across as like a dictator or telling people what to do or micromanager, which is kind of what we all go through. But if we take the angle of like, I'm really supportive, I'm here, I want to be your cheerleader and like your coach and help you on and make sure they're like, if you're really clear on your role and they're clear on their role, then they know how to show up and perform, and then you can coach them as well. And people love that. So if we think about running them as like a sporting team versus more of like that person coming in being the dictator and the micromanager who no one likes that person at all, then it's completely different and you're building that culture togetherness as well. So well, leadership filters down, and like as leaders and owners and CEOs, like we always have to be on the top of our game. Even if we've had a bad day at home or like my daughter's woken up at 3 a.m. this morning, I still need to be on my game as well. So how do you kind of make sure you stay motivated and inspired for your work as well? Because when you lose that, then everything else kind of filters down as well. So how do you stay motivated and inspired?
Yeah, so I think I have to check myself. I have to make sure that I'm doing the things to look after myself. So it's like I have got gym time that is like religious for me. So I have to go to the gym. I have to do my yoga. Those things are non-negotiables. So, and the other thing that I've done is really started scheduling some personal time, some me time, because I think, and I know, I'm sure you feel it as well as a mum, it's really easy to put everybody's needs above your own. But if you don't look after yourself, then as you say, you're going to fall apart. And if I'm at the top of the ladder here, I don't want my falling apart to filter down. And I think I have a real responsibility as a leader to role model good behavior and like good habits as well. So, and I want my team to, have a wonderful, healthy life, and I want them to have that balance. I don't, I want to be that role model for them as well in that way. So that's how I do that. And then I've got this like really clear vision of what I want the practice to be. So everything just keeps coming back to that really clear vision. And it's like, this is what we want to be. We want to have a practice where the patients want to be, the clients want to be, and the staff want to be. And, we take into consideration the emotional well-being as well as the physical well-being, and everything comes back to that. So it's really easy to stay on target when you're really passionate about, what you want your practice to be and where you're headed.
That's incredible. Yeah, I know whenever I like miss a gym session or something, or I don't do my fitness, then everything else crumbles underneath it. But it's the easiest thing to let slide as well. You're like, oh, well, I've got to jump onto this meeting or put this fire out. Oh, and then like, I'll let the gym go or something. But then that's actually like for me, the number one thing. I'm like, if I can get to the gym, then like my head's in the game and I always feel better as well. So staying fit and healthy as well is super important. And then, like you said, vision, having that clear vision that you're always talking about in your meetings and in your videos and everything that everyone's driving towards is a huge thing and a huge motivator as well on that. So when like we've always had coaches like to help us grow our business as well. Like we lead by example. Like, so what should people look for in a coach when they're looking for a coach?
I think for me, I look for a coach that is willing to challenge me. And I think that if the coach is well organized and got a really good plan, then they've got to be walking the walk, right? And they can't just talk the talk and then be total chaos. That's not going to help you at all. And I think something that I really appreciate about PA is how organized you are. I appreciate that Tristan will ask me difficult, like challenging questions. And sometimes I need that. I can't see, what I can't see. So sometimes we need to be challenged. And I think that's super important as well. And I think the fact that if you can have a coach that's got a good team, nobody can be the expert in everything. You guys have experts in lots of different areas. And I think that is so valuable that I'm able to go, if I've got a problem in this area, I can go, hey, I can talk to you about that. Or if I've got a problem in this section that's different, you've got someone that's able to help. And if you don't know, you guys will always then go, hey, we'll get back to you, which is something else that I think is really important. And you guys have got a high level of accountability. And so having a coach that's got a high level of accountability helps to model what you need to do as well.
Definitely, we call it a bit of tough love for everyone as well out there, but we all need it. Like when I go to the gym and my trainer will be like, oh, Sarah, you need to put your squats up by this, and then I'll like have a little I'm like, I don't want to do that, and then he'll be like, come on, let's do it, and I'm like, all right, and then you do it afterwards and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I did that. But we always need that little push or someone challenging us as well, because like information these days, you can get any information you really want on the internet, but it's more about, okay, like getting things done and like someone holding you to a higher standard. And then having a coach, like when you're running your business every single day, you don't see like those things on the outside. So having someone else that's kind of can pinpoint what's happening out there and show you a different way of looking at something and then going, oh, I can't believe I didn't see that as well. So I think that's super important. So what was it that really made you choose to work with us, Belinda?
There was a bit of social proof out there. I know Mike from Bundaberg, and he was using you guys, and so I've crossed paths with Mike over the years. And I was like, I was following him on socials and was like, oh, I like what the practice is putting out. And then I just got the right feel when I had that meeting with Tristan, and he was able to be like, no, this is what we can do for you, and we can help you get that clarity you need, and we can help in all these ways. And I was like, that's exactly what I need, because I knew I needed better structure. I knew I needed clarity, and you guys were able to go, okay, yeah, we can get a plan. That's fine. We can get the plan together. You're not going to have to overthink this and overanalyze. It's like, no, we'll be able to tell you what you need to do and help you do that. And that's exactly what I needed at that time. And now I'm like, cool. Now I'm like, I've got my own plans, but there's no way I'm giving you up, because I need you guys for the accountability. And because everything changes so fast. And like, how do you keep up with, like, because I know you're like all over the Facebook and the Instagram changes and everything like that. And there's no way I can keep up with all of that, but
same thing, like having a coach and being onto it and being passionate about something. But yeah, like we say, like new patients, marketing's changing, algorithms change, and this language you can't use, and new platform pops up, and that's why it's like that's our job to stay on the forefront to make sure you guys have all the information that you need to stay on top of that. And I kind of think of us, if you think about a coach, whoever it is, whether it's us or someone else that you're working with, you kind of think of them as like your insurance policy. Like, yes, maybe you might not use them every single day, but at that point when your practice is really struggling or something like that, that's when you need it. So it's like, let's keep using us and making sure that we do provide and make sure that you're happy and that you're getting the results. But it is the accountability thing, because like, I'll let myself down a million times. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do that later. I'll go to the gym, or I'll do that marketing campaign later. But if you've got us being like, hey, Belinda, where are you at with this campaign? And have you done it? Or not even us. Sometimes it's like the other members in the tribe, and they're doing something and they're leveling up. You're like, well, I need to level up my game as well to be be as cool as Mike or something like that. Like, Mike did this video, I need to be cool like Mike too. So it's like, it's more than that. Like, I know business and especially healthcare is so lonely out there. Like, when I speak to practice owners, they're like, we don't really like connect with all these other business owners, but then when we do have a tribe like this, it's so much power in it. So when you think back on the investment of joining with us, Belinda, like, has that investment been worth it to you?
Oh, easily. Like it's so financially, the investment's paid for itself easily. But I mean, you can't really put a price on the freedom of headspace that I've got, and that the fact that I am so much more engaged with my family and my girls and my husband. Like, so yeah, to me, the investment's a no-brainer. It's definitely paid for itself, and that's why I'm like, yep, happy to sign up for. I've signed up for 12 months, and I just went, yep, like another 12 months in advance. Yep, let's just do it. There's no questions asked. So I'm sticking with it. So yeah.
And what would you say to like people who are listening and maybe sitting on the fence, they have a practice, like what would you say to those people about thinking about reaching out to get some help to grow their practice?
I think at that, when you're reaching out, you just don't know what you don't know. And having experts that can come in and help you see what you need to see and help you. It's not a cookie cutter approach that you have. It's not like you just go, hey, just do this one thing and that's all you've got to do forever and we'll fix it in one fell swoop. But it's like there's many different things because each business has their own challenges, and you help us to work out what our current challenges are and what the biggest needle movers are and help you to focus down on that and then give us tactics for each of those different things. So it's like give them a call, see, they'll help you to work out very quickly where your needle movers are and what your quick wins can be. And once you get a few quick wins on the board, you're going to be like, oh, this is great. And I guess I'll just share with you one of the massive ones the first thing I did when I joined PA was I looked at my cancellation policy because I didn't have one. And it's nearly 12 months since that's been implemented. And we went from having up to $180,000 a year worth of cancellations to down to about $80,000 a year now instead. So in that one thing that I've implemented, PA is more than paid for itself.
Yeah, that's huge. This has been so much fun, Belinda. I appreciate you so much for jumping on, and I've had heaps of fun. We could stay here all day and chat about things, and maybe we will in Bali because we're heading over to Bali very soon. That's going to creep up and I can't wait. But this has been so much fun, and I appreciate you jumping on and sharing your story with us today. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for chatting. It's always lovely to chat with you, Sarah.
All right, bye guys.